Here's my cinnamon and cassia seeds. I put it in cold water. I brought it to a boil. I had it here for a long time, and then I turned it up to 4 medium high for a little while. And then this is the timer for 20 minutes. Once that's down to 10 minutes, then I'll add the anise stars. Okay, I've zested 6½ lemons, 2 oranges. In here I've got all the zest. I've got my frozen pureed ginger and turmeric. That's just 1 finger of turmeric. And then I've got this many berries. I've got my boiling 8 ounces of water here. I'm going to add it into this. Let's pull that off. We want these peels to steep, not boil. So I'm going to get a little head start there and that. And then I've got my 2 cups of water in there. So far I have 3 cups of water. Okay, this has simmered for 20 minutes. So we're going to turn that off. We're going to add this in and let it all steep. Hopefully it goes well. If it cools down too much, then because that ginger needs to melt, but we want to keep it as raw as possible according to my research. We're going to let that steep. These are my frozen elderberries. There's a few goji berries in there too. According to my research, if you eat these raw, there's something in them that can, in higher doses, can be harmful. However, we don't want to overcook them because the longer you cook them, the fewer the nutrients. So we're just going to try to steep them as much as possible. So I'm bringing the water to a boil, then I'll put these in and I'll mash them up a little bit. I'll probably let it simmer very briefly and then just let it sit and steep. And I'm gonna mash them. And then I'll put this rose hips in there too, which are also just supposed to steep. And so I'll mash those or probably use the immersion blender. I'm going to turn this on to low just so that it can keep steeping. And I'm going to mash these. That's making a mess all over me. And then I've set a timer for 1 minute for this to just simmer. All right, this is the 2nd minute, and so it's almost been simmering for 2 minutes, and I'm just mashing it as best I can. Also to get those goji berries. Those would have been better to maybe put in with the rose hips. Okay, there's 2 minutes. Now I'll just let it steep till it cools down. This is still steaming. Turn it off. Now I will try to add a 1.5 cups of that honey right there. This has the 1/2 cup of honey in there, and I'm just gonna let it sit in there. That's scraped out pretty easily. We'll leave that sitting there. Now this is boiling. I just rinsed this. This is just colored because I put water in the other pan and put it in here so I can boil it. Now I'm just gonna let it sit here and make a residual tea from these residual items.
On these residual boulders.
I just added the juice of 1 lemon and 1/2 an orange, and now I'm going to puree everything. Lastly, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I already added it. Here is my finished elderberry syrup, and I will just swig it out of this and use it like a flask, because I don't know how you're supposed to get it out of there into a spoon without dribbling. And then I'll just refill it with this one so that it stays somewhat clear. clean and uncontaminated. Then I have some more decoction using these residual herbs.